What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel. It's starting 11 prediction time for tomorrow's trip to Easter Road to face Hibs. Coming up, we're going to have all of the usual starting 11 stuff. We'll look at the head-to-head with Hibs last season. We'll look at what their lineup might be and how they've started the season as well. But first of all, I want to start with some transfer news. And Idah looks like he could finally be on the way. Celtic and Norwich are in advanced negotiations after Celtic tabled a second bid believed to be in excess of £6 million plus add-ons. That's a step in the right direction, I suppose. That's a step forward. I would still have liked him here yesterday or 3 weeks ago, but that's a positive step forward. Let's hope the deal can be done. It's not officially been accepted or anything like that yet. But that is a step in the right direction, and the sooner we can get him in, the better. Also today we've been linked with Jeffrey Schlupp from Crystal Palace. Versatile player. He's played left back, left wing, he's played in midfield, maybe even up front as well. Maybe we're just going to cram the 4 signings into just one signing with him. He's 31, so he's got a lot of experience. He's played in the Premier League for a number of years. We'll see how that one develops. Again, I think we'd need to do more than that. Whether he's going to be signed as a left back, a left winger, a midfield player, who knows? As I say, he has played a number of positions in recent years, Jeffrey Schlupp, so we'll keep an eye on that one. But we're here to talk about tomorrow's game. We come up against Hibs. We only played them 3 times in the league last season, which is quite unusual. They obviously finished in the bottom 6. The first one was that 0-0 draw at Easter Road, and then we had the 2 wins against them, 1 at home, and of course that late victory with Idah where he scored 2 penalties and he'd won just on the brink of added time to give us a vital 3 points in a really sticky period of the season for us. We know that going to Easter Road is never easy for us. That is despite the fact that Hibs have started the season terribly with a 3-0 defeat against St Mirren last weekend. I get the impression for Hibs that sometimes they play okay in games, but after they concede and they go behind, they tend to capitulate. That was certainly the case last week against St Mirren, where after St Mirren went 1-0 up, it was quickly 2-3. That's a really damaging defeat for them on the opening day. There's also doubts around this new ownership structure at the club as well, and I think the shareholder, the guy that owns Bournemouth, did come out and say that they weren't being listened to after they appointed David Gray. So I don't think everything is rosy for Hibs, but we've gone to Easter Road before when Hibs haven't been in a great place and we've really struggled. It's notoriously a tough place for us to go, almost regardless of how Hibs are playing. But having said that, off the back of that victory over Kilmarnock last weekend, the way we are playing looks very, very good. We look sharp, we look dialed in, and if we can go there tomorrow and play to a high level, I'd expect us to win the game comfortably. Let's have a look then at that Hibs team that faced St Mirren last weekend. Might be some changes to that, obviously, but it was Bursic in goals, Miller, Ekpiteta, O'Hara and Obita. Ekpiteta and O'Hara have both come from the lower leagues in England this season. They're new signings. They had an absolute nightmare away at St Mirren last weekend. In midfield, it was Joe Newell, Mariah Welsh and Campbell, Boyle and Molotnikov on the wings with Dylan Vente up front. I'd say that might be something similar to that. Obviously, off the back of a 3-0 defeat, it's likely that David Gray will make some changes. Could the likes of Mariah Welsh drop out and Dylan Levitt come into midfield? And also this week, they did confirm the signing of Kieran Bowie from Fulham, who's a young Scottish striker who's been playing again in the lower leagues in England. So they've made a lot of new signings, not really bedded many of them in, and as I say, they don't look in great form, and they've got off to a really, really poor start last weekend. But we'll get to the Celtic team, which is the main thing, and we'll start in goals with Kasper Schmeichel, who had a very, very easy Celtic debut last weekend. Barely a save to make for him. He had 1 or 2 that he had to collect in the first half, but aside from that, very, very little for him to do. The encouraging thing was that whenever he had the ball at his feet, he did move it on quickly, and that really helped us build out for the back. So there's no doubt he might be tested at some time in this game. A good introduction for him, this to away games in Scotland. Going to Hibs, a tough venue for us. So he'll have to be switched on tomorrow, but again, look forward to seeing him, and hopefully he does get tested and hopefully he stands up to that. Right back, Alistair Johnston. This is one that I got wrong last weekend. As you can see, the counter in the corner, which is going to be there through the course of this season, says 0 because I didn't get the starting lineup correct last weekend. I put Ralston at right back because I didn't know if Johnston was going to be ready, and opted for Palmer left wing, and it was James Forrest Of course, it was James Forrest. He was absolutely brilliant as well. Why should it have been Lewis Palmer after that sort of performance for James Forrest and the way he finished last season? Carter Vickers and Scales at centre half, Taylor at left back. Certainly no change in midfield with McGregor, O'Reilly and Hatate. The three of them were brilliant last weekend. Hatate particularly opens the scoring for us, but also Matt O'Reilly, who won the ball back with a counter press right before it. Taylor plays the pass in, and a lovely touch and finish for Hatate. But I thought all across the pitch, but particularly in midfield, we were excellent last weekend. Again, let's hope it's not the final time we see Matt O'Reilly in a Celtic shirt. That news of Brighton tabling a bid of around £25 million might not have been the case. It's all gone quiet in the last day or so. Brendan Rodgers talking about it again in the pre-match press conference about how we don't have to sell and it'll need to be the right price. But the rumours are there. There's plenty of links. There's plenty of clubs interested. Everybody expects that he's going to go at some point this summer, but the way he's playing, he's been absolutely brilliant, and I think he's in a good place. We just need to close our eyes and cross our fingers and hope that we get to the 31st of August and he's still a Celtic player. Right, front three, Kuhn on the right-hand side, who I thought was really, really good last weekend. Much better from him. You can see there's a lot more power in his running. He was a threat. I don't think he played quite as well as James Forrest on the left-hand side, and I don't want to get too carried away, but I think it was more positive from him. He obviously gets his goal, he gets a bit of luck with the deflection, but he looks much more of a threat this season. Early doors, I know, but much more of a threat, a lot more powerful than he was last season, so long may that continue. On the left-hand side, I'm sticking with James Forrest, and I'm putting Kyogo through the middle. I thought Forrest was brilliant last weekend. Maybe a question mark, could Idah come back in if he's fit? But I think James Forrest, after that performance last weekend, should stay in the team. And interesting to hear Brendan Rodgers say today that this is a time of the season where you maybe not see too many changes in the team because Europe hasn't kicked in yet. Leading up to that first international break, there's only really one game per week, so the squad should be able to navigate that off the back of their pre-season. And James Forrest looked fit and he looked sharp last weekend, so I think that will be the lineup that Brendan Rodgers picks tomorrow. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. Like this video as always, and we'll see you tomorrow at Easter Road with all of the full-time reaction. Thank you.